everyone, it's Sage here and welcome you to the Executive Corner Expert Talks 20-minute roundup. And today we've got Ms. Jennifer Chow with us, the Chief Operating Officer of Chimeric Therapeutics. And we bring you the industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates all under one roof to help you discover the insights of the stock markets and help you understand how one can create multiple passive income streams. So we're very lucky today to have Ms. Jennifer Chow, the Chief Operating Officer of Chimeric Therapeutics. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Sage.
So to give you some background about Jennifer, Jennifer has 20 years of oncology and biotech background and experience, and she's recently, well, 3 or 4 months ago, maybe even 5 months ago, taken on the post as the Chief Operating Officer of Chimeric Therapeutics. And to give you some background, Chimeric Technologies is a biotech which listed on the ASX on January 18th, 2021 with very impressive results and is developing its oncology pipeline with novel cell therapy technologies. A very important space to watch, and that will provide benefit to cancer patients globally. And we all know what the stats are in regards to the possibility of getting cancer. So this technology is a very important one. So hopefully the investors will be looking to get involved with a company that is working in such a space that holds a lot of importance to many people out there. The ticker code is CHM for those that don't know. And without any further ado, I'm sure you're looking forward to hearing from Jennifer. So let's start the conversation. So Chimeric Therapeutics recently completed the dosing in first patient cohorts in Chlorotoxin and a CAR-T trial. To give the audience some background, Chlorotoxin is a poison that comes from scorpions. Is that correct, Jennifer?
Yeah, absolutely. So the trial is currently in phase 1, and it's being done at the City of Hope Hospital. And City of Hope Hospital is around Los Angeles, California. We were very excited as we were able to just announce that we had completed the dosing of our initial patient cohort. So the trial has been designed with 4 different dose levels. At the very first dose level, we actually were giving the patients a very low dose of the Chlorotoxin CAR-T through a singular route of administration. We were giving it intratumorally. As we are able to go forward and increase the doses that we're giving the patients in the trial, we actually are moving from that singular route of administration to dual routes of administration as well, where we're going to be able to give the Chlorotoxin CAR-T not just intratumorally, but also intraventricular. So it's really important as we continue to escalate the doses that we are able to open out the 2 routes of administration. And then additionally, with every cell therapy trial, CAR-T trial that is started in the United States, the FDA actually mandates that at the very low dose, when you first enter phase 1, you actually have to treat patients 1 at a time. And so there's what's known as a mandated stagger on patients. And so the beginning of our trial was, 1 patient at a time, and then you had to wait 28 days to see how that patient progressed through the follow-up period. Now that we've been able to announce that we've completed the dosing and all of the patients in the first dose level cohort have advanced past the 28-day follow-up period without dose-limiting toxicities, we're now able to remove that stagger. So we're able to accrue patients to the trial a little bit more rapidly than we had been. We're moving to that dual route of administration for our dosing, and we're increasing our dosing. So it was an incredibly important milestone for us to be able to reach, both from a safety perspective, as well as to be able to continue the trial. So we're very excited to have been able to make that announcement recently.
Absolutely, and congratulations on the completion of your phase 1 trials, and we're looking forward to seeing the results of phase 2, hopefully soon. And I understand your IPO on the ASX was well received and totally exceeded your expectations, reaching close to $90 million in investor support. And I think your initial public offering was, you were looking for close to 25,000. So that was very well received. Congratulations on that too. And cell therapies come into focus because I believe the coronavirus is a strand of mRNA as well. So a very important space to watch in regards to how this type of technologies can develop to hopefully eradicate the diseases that have been causing so much strife for people throughout the ages. So cancer therapy from scorpion venom is an intriguing subject for the stakeholders, surely. Can you provide a basic understanding of the therapy?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like you said, CAR T therapy is a type of therapy that's more broadly referred to as cell therapy. And that's really when you use cells to be able to improve a disease state for patients. So the chlorotoxin CAR T that uses the Deathstalker venom, Deathstalker scorpion venom, what we do is that is actually engineered into a cell. So what happens is a patient essentially comes in for what is very much like a blood draw, and you take a certain amount of blood from the patient. Those blood cells are sent off to a manufacturing facility to be engineered. When they arrive at that facility, we isolate the T cells, and then we engineer the cells so that they express what's known as a chimeric antigen receptor, or CAR. And in this case, the CAR that we're expressing has chlorotoxin, which is what comes from the Deathstalker scorpion venom, as its tumor targeting domain. And so we use that tumor targeting domain is really used to be able to isolate or find the tumor cells once the CAR T cells have been put back into the patient. So when the cells are manufactured and when the manufacturing is completed, what happens is the cells are frozen and then they are sent back to the patient wherever the patient lives, and they're infused into a patient. And then what you see is those cells go to work to really find, in our case, the cells right now in the phase 1 clinical trial are looking for GBM cells, so glioblastoma cells. So when the patient is infused with chlorotoxin CAR T, the CAR T cells really seek out the GBM cells, and then they're able to attach themselves. And then they're able to send a signal that says, okay, I've found a tumor cell. And that's what then triggers the cytotoxicity, so the signal to kill that tumor cell. So it's incredibly exciting type of therapy. It really is very, it uses your own cells, so it's very personalized. And what we've seen in a lot of the blood cancers, so in things like lymphoma and multiple myeloma, is that these CAR T cells have been bringing incredible outcomes for patients. So we're very optimistic that this particular technology utilizing chlorotoxin hopefully will bring very similar outcomes for glioblastoma patients.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your insights on that. So with the pandemic still at large, how will it impact the clinical development of the CLTX-CAR-T or CAR-T trial looking ahead?
Yeah, it's a great question, Sage. I think, to be quite honest with you, I think the impact that we felt from the pandemic is hopefully lessening a little bit. And so, as you probably know, the trial is being done in California. California went on lockdown about a year ago, or just over a year ago, in March of last year. And I think, now is starting to come out of lockdown, actually, and as they're able to vaccinate a very high percentage of their population. So we do believe that the trial is now going to be able to continue as lockdown has been lifted. It's enabled patients to move a little bit more freely around the United States to get treatment and to access the trial. And obviously, it's made it a little bit more, easier for healthcare workers who really have, been the front lines of all of the work on the pandemic, to be able to start to look at things like clinical trials again as well.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that people are able to get out and without their masks, and that your vaccination rollout in the US is going quite successfully as well. How is Chimeric advancing the clinical development after completing significant milestones in the phase 1 Chlorotoxin CAR-T trial? What are the near-term goals?
Yeah, so the announcement that we made says that we completed the first dose level in our phase 1. We have 3 more dose levels to go. The entire phase 1 study will be somewhere between 18 and 36 patients, taking somewhere in the neighborhood of 18 to 24 months. When we finish that trial, we should have a very good sense of the safety that chlorotoxin CAR-T has with patients. And we also should have been able to find ourselves what we believe is the optimal dose. And so what is the best dose that balances out the efficacy and the safety for patients? With that, what our intent is to move into a phase 2 trial. The phase 2 trial, we believe, will be a single arm registration trial. So that means it will allow us to be able to register the drug for commercial availability after the trial is completed and the results are in. So our hope is that within the next 18 months or so, we will have completed the phase 1 trial. We'll know what the right dose is and be opening up the phase 2 trial. That trial would probably need about 80 patients, we estimate. And that probably will take a little bit of time to accrue the trial, get the data, and then we'll be looking to hopefully submit for approval to all of the different regulatory authorities around the world.
Fantastic news. And I hope there aren't any further economic delays in regards to the pandemic, and that the health system will hopefully be back to its regular inflow, and with the decreasing of patients experiencing the severe symptoms of coronavirus. When does the company believe it can initiate the phase 2 study?
Yeah, so as I was just saying, Sage, once we finish the phase 1, that's when we'll move into phase 2. And so right now we estimate there's probably another 18 months left on the phase 1 trial. We're already preparing for the phase 2. So as you can imagine, to be able to operationalize a global multi-site trial to give you enough data and to be able to go to the regulatory authorities takes a lot of planning. So we're currently, undertaking all of that planning, getting everything in place. And we believe that as soon as we complete that phase 1, we'll be in a good position to start.
Yes, and hopefully the economy as well will have scaled back to pre-pandemic levels by then. And I'm sure the investor support would be required as you begin that phase 2 study too. So are there any immediate plans to expand the chlorotoxin CAR-T for the treatment of additional tumour types? Or are you mainly going to focus on I think you called it the glioblastoma tumours?
Yes, absolutely. So glioblastoma, for those that haven't come into contact with it, is a type of brain cancer. It is considered one of the most fatal types of cancer. And so very sadly, unfortunately, patients that are diagnosed with glioblastoma really have very few treatment options right now. So this is one of the reasons why development of this CAR-T is so important. And they actually really very often don't have very long survival. And so you really see long-term survival is less than 5%, greater than 5 years. So that's our first focus, is glioblastoma. But great question about, are we planning to look at other tumor areas? And we absolutely are, Sage. We do believe from the data that we have right now that our CAR-T, the chlorotoxin CAR-T, may actually be effective in a number of other tumor areas. So we've started out work looking at melanoma. We're looking at small cell lung cancer, colorectal cancer, sarcomas, and prostate cancer. And we are currently developing preclinical work and a protocol to be able to open what is known as a basket trial, which would be another phase 1 trial, which would allow us to bring in patients from all of the different types of tumors and see how chlorotoxin CAR-T works in a variety of other tumor types. So we're very excited to be able to look forward to opening that, and then hopefully being able to demonstrate that chlorotoxin will be beneficial for a number of other tumor types in addition to glioblastoma.
That's fantastic news. And in regards to melanomas, with the Australian sun being so intense, there's a significant number of people who experience those type of tumours in Australia.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah, so CAR T therapy is still in its nascent stage in Australia, and with only a couple of companies involved in the space, do you see the country playing a key role in this area in the future?
Yes, absolutely. I think that cell therapy itself and CAR T therapies are in very early stages. And I think there has been an incredible amount of investment and excitement in the area because of what they've been able to do for patients and really how they have been able to extend survival for patients that had very little options. I think from Australia, there is an incredible amount of work that is being done in this space that is very exciting. And I think that Australian scientists and inventors absolutely will be taking a major role as we continue to move forward with the development of cell therapies globally.
Best of luck with your projects moving forward, and hopefully they'll be done in a timely phase manner and not to experience any further delays. Could you highlight the vision and goals on that note of Chimeric Therapeutics for 2021?
Yes, absolutely. So 2021 is certainly a year where we have a lot in development and we have a lot of very ambitious objectives for this year. The first and foremost is to continue the phase 1 Chlorotoxin program and really continue to bring in those patients to be able to move through the different doses so that we're able to get that signal and understand the right dose to be able to move into the phase 2 program. We're also then, as I mentioned, looking to open a phase 1 basket trial to look at chlorotoxin in other tumor areas. And then one of the things where we're spending a lot of time right now is also in looking at how we build out our pipeline. We're very much focused as a cell therapy company in oncology at looking at novel cell therapies that scientists and inventors are working on right now that we believe may have the promise to actually help patients with very difficult to treat tumors. And so we hope that by the end of 2021, we'll have been able to bring in additional cell therapies into Chimeric Therapeutics for our development as well. So we're looking forward to continuing development, expanding our pipeline as we get to the end of this year.
And thank you so much for dedicating your knowledge and expertise to this space with the stats that you mentioned. And in regards to the survivors from brain cancer, it sounds like something that really needed some extra attention. Where would you like to see the company expand to in the next 1 to 2 years, in your opinion?
Yeah, you know what? I think that is an exciting question, to be honest with you, Sage, is when you think about expansion of the company. I think we're expanding very slowly and really, thinking through how we expand. Right now, we're focused on expanding the assets in our pipeline. While we believe chlorotoxin has incredible potential for multiple different tumor types, we also know that there are still a lot of tumor types out there with high unmet medical needs. And there is a lot of incredible science. And so I think over the next couple of years, that's one area of expansion for us that we think will be incredibly important. Because I think for us, it really is, we're focused on bringing what we call the promise of cell therapy to more patients. And I think that's going to be an incredibly important aspect to being able to do that. And as we do so, we want to be able to grow the organization with people who are just as passionate as myself and Syed Rizvi, who is our Chief Medical Officer, and Elliot Burke, who was recently brought in to lead our business and corporate development, and people that are passionate that really want to continue to help patients that have these high unmet medical needs.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of support for this type of technology, and it is moving into the space more with CRISPR technology. I think that Jennifer Doudna won a Nobel Prize for her research there. So amazing developments in the space and with the work Chimeric Therapeutics is doing. I'm sure the Australian investor audience would be keen to help in some way. And is CMH exploring any collaboration opportunities in the near term to advance the chlorotoxin CAR-T developments?
Yes, well, we first of all appreciate all of the support that we've had already from the Australian investor community, and really look forward to continuing to work closely and let all of the investors in Australia be part of what we're doing. In terms of potential collaborations and partnerships, we continue to be in discussions with multiple different scientists and inventors and organizations around the world to look at how we will continue to develop both chlorotoxin as well as potentially some of the new assets that will round out our pipeline. As we think about sort of what we're focused on in terms of those collaborations and partnerships, we're very focused in cell therapy. We're very focused in oncology because we really believe that that is where we want to stay focused. And then we've started to look at potential collaborations and partnerships that would allow us to look at novel CAR-T technologies. So right now, most of the CAR-Ts that you see have single antigen target domains, and they're second generation CARs. What you're starting to see is people think about third generation CAR-T products or CAR-T products with multiple antigen target domains. So that's one area where we really see potential for collaboration and development. And then another is very much looking to the future. Right now, our therapies are autologous, which means that we're using a patient's own cells and then going through that process that I was describing of sending out the cells for manufacturing. We're also looking at potential collaborations and development with allogeneic platforms, which become a little bit more off the shelf. And so different types of cell therapy technologies, but it allows patients to be treated a little bit more rapidly. So lots of work to look at how we can collaborate with other scientists and other organizations, and really look to continue to move outcomes forward for patients.
Fantastic news from your space, and best of luck with the phase 2 and the developments of the ventricular modulations that you spoke of as well. So what a fabulous show. It was lovely chatting to you, Jennifer, and thank you so much for your time. And for the investors out there, the ticker code for Chimeric Technologies is CHM, who have been on the ASX since January this year, so definitely look out for them. And Jennifer, would you like to add any last words before we finish off our discussion today?
Yeah, absolutely, Sage. Just want to thank everybody for the support that we've received and really look forward to continuing to let everybody know as we continue to grow.
Fantastic. And with that, it's Sage signing off for today, but definitely watch this space for more. Until then, stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.